Well, last year, Louisiana set another record for economic impact, $11.7 billion. That was the second year in a row.
It is research that made that record possible, research that found its way to farmers who grow more food on less land and with less water and less inputs. TWILA Avery Davidson now joins us. And Avery, I understand the Louisiana legislature is working with a bill right now to make sure that the funding for that research does not completely go away.
And the important thing here, Mike and Kristen, is that this is not tax dollars we're talking about. This is money coming out of the farmers' own pockets. But last year, the Louisiana Supreme Court ruled that the way rice farmers paid for that research was unconstitutional. Now the Louisiana legislature is taking steps to fix that.
The farmer harvesting this field is piling up about 8,000 pounds of rice every acre. That's nearly double what farmers harvested 40 years ago.
In the early 70s, we were averaging maybe 30 barrels an acre, and now we're, approaching 50 barrels. So, with the new varieties and the new technology and the clear field varieties, we've changed a lot of the way we farm rice. We used to water plant 100% of the acres that we grow. Now we're probably 90 to 95% drill planting, which is, another aspect of what the research has done for the rice industry, which is safer, more productive, and less harmful to the environment.
Dane Hebert grows rice on about 600 acres in North Vermilion Parish. He credits all of the advancements he just spoke of to research. Research conducted at the LSU Ag Center's Rice Research Station in Crowley and paid for by the farmers themselves.
The research that's done in Crowley at the Rice Research Station is done on the conditions that we grow our rice under in South Louisiana. And without that research station, they couldn't duplicate those conditions anywhere else. So we have harsher conditions here with the humidity and the insect problems. So without that research station being here locally, we wouldn't have the same environment to grow the new varieties that we need here in South Louisiana to make us profitable. So it's very critical that we continue the research and the referendum to give them the checkoff dollars that they need to keep funding it.
Last year, the Louisiana State Supreme Court ruled that the funding mechanism for rice research and promotion was unconstitutional. Even though farmers agreed to give the money voluntarily, the High Court said an assessment like that could only come about by a vote of the legislature. That's why these rice farmers are here at the state capitol at this meeting of the Senate Ag Committee. The court's ruling only brought an end to the rice checkoffs, but in a proactive effort, other commodity groups like soybeans and corn took steps to ensure the Supreme Court would not strike down their checkoff programs. Bills authored by Representative Jack Montesay of Crowley and H. Bernard Labat of Ville Platte to put the checkoff programs into alignment with the state constitution already passed the House, which is why the representatives now need the approval of these senators.
These people are doing the right thing. They're putting up their own money to increase their business and to give jobs across the state as well as feeding us. So I really appreciate what they've done.
The research in ag industry, as I well know from what I do, is so very, very important. And without it, we wouldn't have maybe not an industry at all. And I want to commend both of you and the entire industry for coming together, coming to the table as one, and getting this thing done, because it is so very, very important.
The rest of the committee must have shared the sentiments of Senator Brett Alain of Franklin, because the Senate Ag Committee unanimously agreed to send the bills favorably to the Senate floor.
Avery, participation in the governmental, legislative, and political process is the most important thing for effectiveness for a particular industry or profession like agriculture. Farm Bureau has always been a really good group as far as grassroots, getting to know their elected officials, staying in touch with them, maintaining those relationships so that situations like today can occur all over the place, all over the state, especially in the state capitol.
Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, Dr. Mike Strain, says every dollar invested in research gives a return of $20 over a 15-year period.
So I'm very proud of our legislators for standing up. What the Supreme Court said is that the legislature must vote. Now, every 5 years since 1972, these statutes have been re-voted on by referendum. And we also did a survey, and where for the rice research, 86% of the producers are in favor of it. And so it's a very positive thing, and I think you're going to see record results. This year, the value of rice in Louisiana, just rice alone, was $660 million. The value of crawfish, $150 million. The value of corn and the other grains, $600 to $700 million each. So 1.2 to 1.5 billion. When you take and add cotton to that, and all of those values of cotton and grain together, you're at about $1.5 billion. All of that together. So this is invaluable. You can't put a price tag on what it is worth. And you and I are going to see, we are going to see rice go from $660 million to $1 billion industry. We will see that.
While the research does keep farmers profitable, Strain says the big winner is the consumer because increased yields keep food prices stable, especially for rice.
This year we had a record production, 7,300 pounds per acre. The newest varieties being released, a new variety, 8,990 pounds an acre. That's $200 to $250 an acre additional, right? So if you look at our ability to produce rice, to farm, and if you look at the value of the corn and soybean, that promotion and research, that's $4 million a year. When you put all this together, the majority of these commodity researchers, when you look at that, is funded by the farmers.
Statistics have shown that 4 out of 4 people eat food, and so we know that, this is important to people on the receiving end of that production.
Without research, we probably wouldn't have a viable rice industry in South Louisiana. It's very critical that we continue the funding to keep the production up to where we can be profitable.
If you look at where we were in 2008, about $5.8 billion, we're at $11.8 billion. We have doubled that value since '08. And a lot of that comes from hard work, ingenuity, technology, science, innovation, and application. Research, development, and then putting that development, right, extension into the farmer's hands.
Those bills will now go to the full Senate for debate. According to Commissioner Strain, Governor Bobby Jindal says he will sign those bills when they get to his desk.